Hello, we're live. How exciting, the first episode of Finding Your Purpose, which is my new podcast. And I'm so pleased that for this first episode, I've got a really dear friend of mine, Kirsty Leitch, to act as my first guest. So big up for Kirsty.
Thank you for having me.
It's okay. You're very welcome, Kirsty. And for this first episode, I think we got a nice, juicy subject, which is all about finding the courage to make a change. So, Kirsty, tell me. I know you're very, very well qualified to talk on this subject. Tell me a little bit about the major change, the major transition that you went to when you moved from corporate life to the life as a coach. Tell me about that. What is it that made you make that transition, and how it was for you? What did you do to prepare for it and things like that? So all over to you, Kirsty.
Okay, well, it's kind of started out that I was just stuck. I'd found myself stuck in this position where I was in a job that I didn't really like, doing work that I didn't really enjoy, stuck with people I didn't really like being with. So it was just this maze that I'd found myself in of doubts and stereotypes, and being a minority in that environment. It wasn't really the most conducive environment for good mental well-being, let's put it that way. And I just remember, sorry Stephen, go on.
It's all right, and I'm just thinking that will probably resonate with lots of people now. So if you get that sense of not fitting in and that being a catalyst for change, put me too in the post, put me too. And sorry, Kirsty, I'll keep jumping in, so
go for it. Yeah, absolutely. It's so many people are affected by that. We are in the cycle of just going to work and doing stuff we don't enjoy just because we need to. We've got bills to pay. You have to have something, but it makes a massive difference when you can work in a way that sits with your values and your beliefs, and that certainly wasn't something that was happening for me. It was an environment where I just felt trapped. I was undervalued, questioning my own worth and my intelligence, even though I knew that I could do my job well. There were so many people there that would make me feel like I couldn't, because there were very big egos. And when you're not naturally a big in-your-face character, you can be steamrolled by some of these people. And that was definitely something that was happening to me. And yeah, it was.
Clearly you endured that for a while, and there was obviously a moment at which you thought, I've had enough, that's broken the camel's back now, I need to do something. So what was that catalytic moment when you knew enough was enough and it's time to make a change?
It was a time when I was hiding in the toilets in the bathroom, because that was something I used to do quite a lot, waiting for our American office to wake up, because I knew it was one of those calls that I just absolutely hated being on. And I was hiding, and it was just like, what are you doing? What are you doing with your life? How have I even let this happen? How have I let all of these other people's voices affect me this way? Because it wasn't just my work life. I was bringing it all home. It was my friendships, my relationship. It was the whole experience of life this job was affecting. And it's just like, I can't do this anymore. I don't know what I need to do, but I can't do this anymore, because it was that hamster wheel of thinking, I don't want to get up in the morning. It was just awful. And
I think lots of people resonate with that again, because it's that sense that it's you on the hamster wheel, you're doing the same thing day in, day out, you're seeing the same people, you're going out for lunch to the same places, you're bringing home the same bad feelings sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
At that point it's time to make a change. I had a similar my calling was really more a kick up the arse, really, but when you've heard this story, but I think maybe some of our listeners won't, but My wake-up call was in November 2022 when somebody, the family knew quite affectionately as Uncle John. He wasn't actually a blood relative, but we called him Uncle John. He lost his leg to uncontrolled type 2 diabetes. It was amputated. That was in the November. And then, of course, Christmas comes the following month. And, my son Luke, 7 at the time, he, we had one of those typical family moments when all the presents are done, all the bellies are full, and, you're just sitting down and chilling out. And
yeah,
he said to me, Dad, he said, I said, yes, Luke. He said, Dad, Uncle John had his leg removed. You've got type 2 diabetes. When's yours going to be removed? And
that cuts, doesn't it? Deep.
That was like, those movie shots when the back wall comes forward and everything gets squeezed towards the camera. I felt it was in a movie shot like that. And I wanted to escape. I didn't want to ever be in that position before.
No.
So then it's all about the transition, what you do to get out. Now, for me, it was about a massive amount of learning, about research, about type 2 diabetes, about seeing that there was an escape route here. There was a parachute that I could sew and get out of this situation. And then it was about execution. So what was your parachute out of this situation, Kirsty?
It was actually a friend suggested that I try hypnotherapy. It, in the end, turned out to be a game changer, but I was really skeptical to begin with. I was just thinking, someone's going to swing something in my face, and like you see on the TV, it's like, oh, they make me cluck like a chicken. I was like, I don't want to do that. So I was really skeptical. I didn't want to do it. But that
will resonate so much with so much of the audience. I'm just recalling how many hypnotists I've got on my friends list, and if they're listening right now, they'll probably recognize that as the typical client fear they get.
So many people are worried about that, but in the end I did try it. She really encouraged me to give it a go, and it was a game changer because it meant that it gave me my power back. Going through that process made me feel more in control than I'd felt I can't even remember how long, because I'd learned a new way to have a conversation with myself. There was new tools that were able to transform my mind and how I was thinking and how I was feeling. And then, of course, when you're feeling differently, your thoughts follow. And likewise, when you're thinking differently, your feelings follow. So you're creating a new cycle where you're feeling more in control, but feeling better, lighter, not like you've got this horrible, heavy blanket weighing you down all the time. And going through this process, I could feel that I was getting braver, feeling more courageous, and actually that starting able to acknowledge the little successes and the big ones, that I was able to start thinking, actually, I don't need to be here anymore. I could celebrate my own victories and find a place where actually I felt like I was deserving, that I'd earned my way being there, not that I was just taking up space. So it was the fact that I was able to rewrite all of that negativity that I'd absorbed from that environment and turn it into something where I could embrace myself and my skill set and just start feeling more proud of myself. When you start feeling proud of yourself and you have accessibility to pride, it brings in some almost like your dignity and my boundaries, and just letting me be okay with being me, if that makes sense.
It does. And by the way, don't worry about this chap up here. DD, he always joins me on these calls. He's always going to be there. I can't get him to take a rest. DD, short for diabetes destroyer. That's what you can call him if you want to refer to him. When you'd made this change, and I guess this was a really big change for you, Kirsty, a massive change from the corporate life
Yeah.
you were quite successful at before. When you'd made that change, how did your family take to it? How did they respond to you? Did they notice a different Kirsty?
Certainly, my husband did. He was always really supportive of me not returning to work after I'd had my children. And it was just, he always said, we've got to find a way out. You can't continue this way, because he could certainly notice that I was disappearing as an individual the longer that I was there. So when I decided that actually this hypnotherapy thing had made such a difference to my mind, I think I want to go and I want to learn more about that. He was like, let's do it. Go and find out more about it. And I didn't realize at the time that that's what I'd end up doing. I just needed something to take my mind off of all of the stuff going on. And having that time when I was on maternity leave to go and study and train and do all of those things. And I was sewing my parachute before I had to jump. So instead of trying to do it on the way down.
Yeah, that's great. So sorry, I keep putting my glasses on. I hate these reflections on my glasses, but I can't see a damn thing without them.
I can't see. If I take it off, I can't see you either. So
yeah, exactly. So I have to put them on. I always say to guests that I put them on so I can hear you better, but it's to see you better, really.
It's to see you better. All the better to see you with.
Exactly. I remember that fairy tale as well. So now you've been trained for years now in the hypnotism. In fact, you've been doing that for what, 10 years now? 9 years?
10 years. I first hypnotized my first little person that was brave enough to let me loose with them.
Little person. You hypnotize children, do you, or something? Or
yeah. Children are amazing hypnotic subjects.
Wow.
But yeah, they were absolutely brilliant all those years ago. I don't work with tiny people as much now as I had done in the past. But yeah, there were some really fun people that I got to meet as a result of going through this training and practicing my hypnosis skills and all the rest of it. So it's made a really great foundation for all of the other modalities that we can bring together, so that they work and support one another.
Who do you enjoy working with now? Is it the same kind of corporate person you might have bumped into before, or is there another kind of genre of clients that you're working with now?
I do tend to work with mostly women now. Sorry, Dee Dee.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Dee.
I know he's going to be totally disappointed, but
I know. What can we do? But it's usually a lot of people that have experienced things like I have, where they've lost their confidence. They get up every morning not believing in themselves or thinking that they can do what they want to do because they believe they're not good enough. They've absorbed all of this negativity and now they're starting to believe it. And of course, we know that's not true. So I'm working with amazing ladies out there that are finally taking their control back to feel more confident, more courageous, and step into their own shoes. And I know you've popped my group down there. So
yeah, I just think what a terrific name, the Lioness Club, because it just shows the bravery and the fortitude of the people. I guess they emerge with that. Some of them don't actually maybe come in with that, but
no,
to go out with that,
it's a safe space to come and build that, to be safe, to be vulnerable, and to acknowledge, actually, I'm over here and I'm not feeling so great about myself. I don't think the best things of myself, but I want to change that. I'm ready to start feeling more confident, more calm, more in control. And that's what the process is about, being in this free group, is to find your pride of other lionesses, that people that will support you, that understand what you're going through, and they're there to cheerlead. We're so good at beating ourselves up, aren't we? And sometimes we just need other people to believe in us while we're learning to do that. And that's what that's what I do. That's what we do inside of the group, is to look after you while you're beginning to unleash your courageous confidence, because it's already there.
Give us a roar, Kirsty. Go on, give us a roar.
I don't know if I could do a roar.
Go on.
It's going to be like a little meow.
If people are looking to you, can they just search for the Lioness Club on Facebook? Will you come up immediately?
Okay. Yeah, if you just type in the Lioness Club, and that should come up for you, and you'll see this will come up, and you'll see you'll know it's me.
Your face, yeah.
Yeah, my face will be there.
Okay. Good. Okay. I hope people can join. Are you kind of limiting it to a certain amount of members, or should people not worry? Just come along, and you'll make another group if it gets too big.
Just come along. We're a really nice small group at the moment, so you haven't got to worry about disappearing into hundreds of people, because it's not. It's just a really nice, small, intimate group, and you will be very welcome and supported.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And is there a particular day that meets, or is that just something people can dip into when they've got the time to do?
You can just dip into as and when you like. I come on every Sunday and do a hypnosis or some kind of session. I don't know. I change it up, so it depends. Sometimes it's hypnosis, sometimes it's something else. And we do something, I call it Set Up Sunday, so we can just let go of the week that's been and set ourselves up ready for the following week, so that we can go into the week feeling like we're more prepared, and not that, oh no, it's Monday feeling.
I do like that. And I'm so disappointed I don't get to come, Kirsty.
And I'll share one with you behind the scenes.
Yeah, and DD is too. I can sense his regret as well. But anyway, there we go. I think that's a really, really rich resource, and I really love the idea of setting up for the week on Sunday, and so my head's in a place where it needs to be.
Exactly.
Before I get kind of lost in the daily setup of getting my son off to school and all that kind of stuff. Monday
mornings are busy.
They are, aren't they?
Yeah.
They are. And I always arrive there thinking, where's my weekend gone? I want my weekend back. Yeah. I don't know what it's like for you, but you're ferrying kids backwards and forwards.
Yeah, exactly. It's taxi, isn't it? Taxi for the kids. They're having all the fun. You're here, there, and everywhere. You don't know where you're going or what you're doing. Or I don't anyway. So it's my 15 minutes in the evening to just say, okay, right, we can chill now. I'm going to get my head straight so I can cope with what's coming.
Oh, that sounds really nice. I really recommend that to any ladies out there who are feeling they'd like that roar back in their life. Then come along on a Sunday and join Kirsty. That's been really useful. Thank you, Kirsty. And I'm going to have you back on sometime if that's okay.
Yeah, we'll have another chat.
This is episode 1 for me, and I'm trying to run these every Friday at about 6, and I'm kind of thinking people are starting the weekend, and they've got time to indulge a little bit in a bit of light entertainment. But my thing is, as you know, it's type 2 diabetes. So I can't leave today without mentioning my own Facebook group, which again is a really, well, it's a place where I can give fellow diabetics a bit of a hug, and a bit of support and things, and we all need that. Let's face it, don't we?
Exactly. It's judgment free.
Yeah, exactly. And but what I also give is an amount of support as well, because I had type 2 diabetes. Well, I still have type 2 diabetes, but I had it for 21 years. So 21 years of this, and for the last 5 of them, I was injecting insulin once, twice, 3, 4 times a day, taking 2 tablets, and and really feeling quite a lot of pain and anxiety. I'd go out for a meal and I'd be worried, have I got the right injection pen with me? How much insulin shall I take? I've never been to a Greek before. How much shall I take? What happens if I take too much? I ended up in hospital 3 times over those 5 years because I picked up the wrong pen and injected myself with, short-term insulin rather than the longer-term one.
That's scary.
And I'd put like 5 times as much as I should have in my body. So it was like 999, get the ambulance out and whatever. And it was a scary time for my family. Now it's just so much better. I don't have to worry about, those injections anymore, or those tablets. They're all gone, and I'm diet controlled only. And at the end of all this process, I look back and I thought to myself, well, I run a business here. Over the course of the 5 years I was on insulin, you won't believe this, Kirsty, but I lost £250,000 in fee income because I was falling out with people all the time. I wouldn't be delivering what the client wants, and they'd be, saying a nice goodbye to me, and I'd be saying, "Oh, good riddance." Not literally, but I'd be saying to my wife, "Oh, I had to get rid of that client." They just didn't understand what I did. They just didn't understand. I had to walk away. And more times, this is how that $250,000 stacked up. Excuse me. More and more times, I'd spend longer periods of time out of assignment without a client. And then when I did get them, I got them for shorter and shorter times. So I was being squeezed, and I didn't make that connection that it was my personal health that was damaging my business wealth.
Yeah.
It was only after that crisis point in November 2022, and the story I just told you about Luke, everything suddenly came into place in that cinematographic way that I described before. The reason for losing all this money, for basically being so poor, was all down to my type 2 diabetes, all down to my health. And it just shows, I say to clients now, it just shows that, when things aren't going quite right, and you're saying to yourself, it's market conditions, and the economy's a bit down and everybody's going through it, then take a pause, take a breath, look to yourself and think to yourself, what about my health? How is my health affecting this business? Because just as you described, when you go home and you take home your bad day to your children,
it affects everybody.
It affects everybody. That's right. And if you don't know the connection as a business owner between your health and your wealth, I bet you your wife or husband or significant other does. So
you haven't got the energy to work. You haven't got the energy to just be that person either, have you, when you are at home, because you're worn out.
You're right. And it's that passion, it's that sense of purpose that started our business in the first place. And everything feels such a struggle, doesn't it, when your health isn't right?
It does.
Even when you got a cold, it happens to you like that. But with diabetes, it's a they describe it as a chronic condition. As I say, you can reverse it, but it's the long-term lack of energy and enthusiasm that is felt by your staff, is felt by your, at home with your wife or your children or your husband or your partner, and it's felt all the way throughout. But sadly, sometimes you are the last person to feel it, to make that connection. So I find it really important. I've got to get this message out there. There's a group, again, like your group. It's a free group, and men and women can join my group, Kirsty. That's the great thing about it. I can have men and women in there.
I don't want you to think that.
No, I'm joking with you. You know that. So that's been a really terrific discussion. I hope our listeners have really got something of value from there. And I hope you'll return for sorry, not you, but I mean my listeners will return for episode 2, because episode 2 next Friday is going to be my terrific friend Rick Stevens is going to be along, and he'll be talking to me about health and wellness and getting fit and staying fit. And these are things now that I truly want to focus on, because I could be a bit fitter. I could be a bit less breathless when I walk the stairs and things like that.
Yeah.
And now I've reversed my type 2 diabetes. I've got a mission, and that is to live to 118.
Amazing.
So to do that, I've got rid of my diabetes. Now it's time to get a bit fitter.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if you're interested, then come and join us as an audience member next week, Kirsty.
I will do. Excellent.
Okay.
We can all be a little bit fitter, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. It should be fun. Meanwhile, thank you again very much for joining me. As I say, yeah, well, I'm sure we will. We'll have you back sometime very, very soon as well.
Yes,
thank you, my audience, for listening to us. Please make comments in the notes as to how much you enjoyed it. And if you didn't, I'm very sorry. You've got the whole of the weekend to recover. So thank you all very much, and he thanks you as well. Dee thanks you as well, and I'll see you again next week, and there'll be plenty of other postings in between on TTD Reversal Group or on my personal profile page. And if you're not linked in with me, then maybe you want to connect to my personal profile page. PPP, I like that one. Right, thanks, Kirsty. Bye. Have a great weekend. Bye.